Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about, did she pull away to make me chase her? Okay, so if she did this, if she did pull away so you could chase her because she wanted to be chased basically, that shows to me that if she's done that, then she's immature. Okay, because most women, when they pull away, it actually means that they want space, right? If a healthy woman feels like she's being smothered or she feels like she is being forced into something too fast, she will pull away, right? But if a woman really likes a guy and she pulls away, that's more like a bit of a manipulation technique. Most women pull away because for whatever reason they're feeling a little bit uncomfortable and they don't feel safe most of the time, right? So if she's pulling away on purpose to make you chase her and to play games basically, that means that she's immature and probably someone that you shouldn't want to date. Okay, so most women pull away when they need space or they're losing interest. So if she's interested in you and she pulls away, you need to watch out for that, okay? So I personally wouldn't play into these games, right? The best way to know, basically, if this woman is actually interested in you is to match and mirror what she does. And I recommend that people do this as well. If you come into contact with a woman who pulls away anyway, even if they're pulling away because they're losing interest, you should still match and mirror what they do. So when a woman pulls away, then you need to pull away too. If it seems like she wants space, then you need to give her that space, no matter what, even if she's playing games or it's genuine, okay? So the way that you match and mirror is this, okay? So if you grab your phone and look at the correspondence that you two have been having. Who sends the most messages? Who initiates most of the conversations? Who sends the longer messages? And if that's you, then you need to cut way back on that, okay? You need to cut down a lot. You need to make it so she's doing more than what you are, okay? Now, a lot of people, when I say that, they get really scared and they get really worried because they're like, oh yeah, but if I do that, if I do less than what she's doing, then it may just fizzle out. That is good if it fizzles out because that means that she wasn't interested in you, right? And you shouldn't be trying to hold on to someone and in that way if they really want to do is they want to go, because you're wasting your time. If you're spending time trying to keep someone around who doesn't want to be there, you're wasting your time. You should be focused on women who actually do want you, who actually want to be there, okay? It just makes life a lot more easier if you're trying to convince, because when you're trying to convince someone to be with you, it's always exhausting, as opposed to being with someone who actually wants to be there, right? So you gotta match and mirror what she does. So if she says to you, look, I need some space, you'd be like, okay, great, well, reach out to me when you want to then. Just reach out when you want to, right? That's all. You just need to say something like that. And then she'll either reach out to you eventually and say, hey, I'm ready to start dating again, or hey, how are you? They'll just reach out to you. Or you'll just never hear from them again. You'll just never hear back from them, basically. And both of those scenarios are good because obviously if they reach out to you after you've given them some space, then that's brilliant. You've got them back. You've got them interested again. But if everything just fizzles out, then that's good too. So now you can now focus your time on finding a woman who actually wants to be there. Okay? So that's what I mean by match and mirror. Okay? So when she does reach out to you, you want to get the ball rolling, right? You shouldn't be chit-chatting too much over Messenger anyway, okay? You should really just be using Messenger and things like that as a tool to arrange a quick meetup, right? To arrange meetings and seeing them, as opposed to getting to know one another. Because as human beings, we get to know each other better in person when we see each other face to face. FaceTime can be a good replacement for that if you're doing long distance, but if you are in the same vicinity of each other, you live close by, then you should be spending most of your time together physically and not chatting on the phone, okay? It makes things really boring if you do that, and also it opens the opportunity for miscommunication to happen, okay? Because when you're messaging, you can't read the other person's body language. You can't tell when someone's joking or when they are joking, right? So you got to make sure that you try and spend most of your time in person together, okay? So when they reach out to you, You ask them when they're available to hang out, you make a date with them, and you hang out with them. You need to be able to read each other's body language. Us human beings, we've been around for hundreds of thousands of years, we've been developing. And throughout most of that time, we have always been creatures who see each other face to face, who are social creatures. Messaging and things like that, even letters have, only been around for like a small, tiny fraction of our existence, right? A small fraction. We get to know each other in person, right? And also as well, because when you're together and when you're in person, it's a lot more spontaneous. So you can get to know them way, way more better than you can over Messenger. Why? Because you can construct a message, right? You can choose and pick what to say in that message they can do that to make them seem in the best possible light, right? But when you meet up with them, you may have this sort of like, something feels off because they're not who you thought that they could be, because they've been really carefully crafting their messages to you. So that's another reason why it's important to be with each other in person, so you can see their spontaneity, how they think on their feet, how they talk to you, because you're going to get more of a clearer picture of who this person is if you meet up with them in person. Okay, you're going to get a way better, clearer picture of that. Okay, so it's super important that you meet up with them in person. That's why I personally don't like Messenger and things like that. I know for a fact that I come across better in person than I do in typing and messaging, right? And I feel like that's the same whenever I meet someone in person as well. They come across way better when I meet them, and I get even more comfortable with them in person than when I'm ever talking to them on Messenger, right? It just shows someone who is much more genuine if you can actually read. You get to see who this person really is if you see them physically, okay? So the last point that I want to make is some women give up if too much time has passed and you haven't asked to meet. So this might be one of the reasons why she may have backed out, right? If you haven't bitten the bullet and asked her out yet, then she's getting bored. She's thinking, okay, this is just never going to happen. He's not that interested in me because he doesn't want to meet up with me. Because she may see you just messaging her as a fact that you don't actually want to see her in person, especially if a lot of time has gone by and you haven't asked to meet with her. Right? She may be thinking, I guess he's not really that into me because he's not interested in seeing me. Right? He's not interested in hanging out. And I remember this when I started talking to my first ever girlfriend, right? The one that cheated on me. When we first started chatting, I was still kind of interested in someone else. And she asked me, she said, oh, I wondered why it took you 3 weeks to actually ask to meet up with me. Right? I was wondering why about that, And so, that kind of opened my eyes a little bit there, like, okay, well, she was kind of she may have even backed out, right? It probably would have been better if she had actually, knowing the experience that I went through with her. But she was questioning why it took me so long to ask her out. And it obviously made her feel like I didn't really want to see her. So if you don't get the ball rolling and you don't ask her out, that's a very real possibility that can happen for you if, a woman may think that you're not as interested in her, right? As what, she was hoping for. But all in all, if a woman is pulling away to make you chase her, you should be trying to avoid that kind of woman, because she's using it as a manipulation technique to see if she can get you to bend to her will. All right? Or it could be the case that she's pulling away because she's actually losing a bit of interest, or perhaps because you haven't asked her out yet, you've not meeting up with her yet, and she's starting to lose hope that nothing, that something's going to happen. Okay? So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally and you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.